You ever notice how rich and famous people always seem to be in incredible shape? Like how they can drop fat, gain muscle, and transform their bodies almost overnight, and it looks effortless. Private trainers, personal chefs, endless resources.
What are your superpowers again? I'm rich.
Sounds like they have it way easier than me and you, right? Well, here's the kicker. They don't. Well, not really. In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how the rich and famous get those results so quickly, and why anybody on any budget can follow the same principles that we're gonna go over in this video and get serious results for themselves. So by the end of this video, what once seemed out of reach for all of us will suddenly feel achievable. Let's get into it. And I'm gonna break this down into 6 easy to follow steps, and you're gonna want to take out a pen and take some notes, because I don't want you to watch this whole video and do nothing from it. Get something from it and apply it to your life. It will change it. And that leads me to step number 1. Know where you're starting from. So that's the first secret. Rich and famous people don't just start with random diets or random workouts. Everything's a strategy. They don't have time for guesswork, and it starts with real data. They know their blood work. They know their hormone panels, nutrient levels. They know exactly where they're starting, and so every decision is backed by science. And here's why it's so important. Do you know your current levels of testosterone and growth hormone? The answer is probably not. And these are key for building muscle, burning fat, and recovering from training so you can keep doing it. This is probably a wild guess, but do you know anything about cortisol? Maybe you've heard the word before. Cortisol is that chronic stress hormone that can stall fat and increase inflammation. What about vitamin D, thyroid, glucose? These regulate your energy, your metabolism, and your mood. And I'd be willing to bet that you don't have a clue what those numbers are right now, but the rich and famous do. Why is this so crucial? Because if your hormones are off, your recovery is slow, your energy is low, and fat loss or muscle gain is way harder than it should be. Basically, you're fighting an uphill battle without even realizing it. Now for me, this is where I have personally seen the biggest results in my life. I've always worked out, I've always focused on having a somewhat clean diet, but I've never seen results in my life like I have when I started to actually understand my data. And I found out this is what the rich and famous do too. Personally, I use Joy and Blokes. I don't go to a doctor and I don't go to a normal lab that's close. I like to use Joy and Blokes for a lot of different reasons. And for the past 2 years, I've been using them to get my blood work and panels done. So every 3 months, I have a phlebotomist come to my house on my time, on my schedule. It takes about 5 minutes. They take my blood, and then within a week, I'm talking to the Joy and Blokes team about everything going on under the hood of my personal body. We're not guessing, we're not hoping, we actually know. I like it because it's affordable, it's actionable, and it's easy. You're getting the kind of insights that used to be reserved for the rich and famous only. You would have to have a private doctor and unlimited resources. This stuff used to be crazy expensive, or so we thought. But to me, it's like having a roadmap for my body, a starting point. I know exactly where I am right now. Here's where I want you to take some notes. Schedule your first blood work and hormone panel like immediately. And I encourage you, use a budget-friendly option like Joy and Blokes. I'll have a 50% off discount link and a discount code down in the description below. I'll even have it pop up on screen. If you've never done this before, do it. The insights they provide you could change so much for you. And this is step 1. Nothing else matters if you don't know where you're starting. And if you're married, do this with your spouse. Me and my wife both use Joy and Blokes. They have a men's division and a women's division, specializing in women, specializing in men. Do it together. And we compare our numbers, and we talk to the team at Joy and Blokes about our diet, our stress, our lifestyle, our workouts, everything. And we're able to get on the same team. So if you're married, do it together. Use my link, use my code, and schedule your blood work right now. And now that you've done that, let's talk about step 2. Step number 2 is all about the plan. And when I say plan, I mean a structured, measured, non-negotiable plan. Rich and famous people don't just try to eat better or try to work out more. Their time is valuable, so it's very structured. They design a short, focused, typically 4 to 6 week program that targets exactly what they want to achieve, and they follow it to the T. They don't deviate at all. So on the days when they're not feeling that well, they still follow the plan. And here's why a plan is so important. So many people like to start a workout program or a diet or something, and they're all excited about it, and they do it for 3 days. And after the 3 days, they're feeling sore, they're feeling lethargic, they don't think they can do it anymore, and so they quit. Here's why that is so bad. Well, for one, muscle growth and metabolic adaptation happen over cycles of 2 to 4 weeks. So following a plan that is short term with intense focus allows your body to adapt faster and start showing visible results without burnout. The next thing to consider is consistency and in nutrition and consistency in training trigger hormonal responses like spikes in growth hormone, testosterone, and insulin sensitivity. These help optimize fat loss and muscle gain. But if you don't stick to a plan, your body has no idea what you're throwing at it. And to some, it can feel like your body is just hunkering down and holding on to everything. This is once again why it's so important to follow a plan. 4 weeks. Give yourself 4 weeks of consistency and see what happens to your body. And then tracking adherence is a psychological superpower. If you combine your commitment with measurable progress, this typically equals motivation and habit formation. You'll see the progress and you'll want to keep doing it. So step number 2 is commit to a 4-week plan. But here's what that plan can and should include. Number 1, nutrition. And I'm not talking about just saying you're gonna eat better or eat out less. This is a defined approach. Single ingredient, organic, whole foods, prioritizing protein and foods that satisfy you or satiate, which is the big buzzword, so you don't have cravings later. And make sure it's tailored to your goals, no guesswork. Number 2 is training. A day-by-day plan that mixes cardio with high intensity and strength training. And know exactly what you're doing each day. No guesswork. Number 3 is recovery. Schedule recovery sessions. Have these designed into your daily routine. Things that would include morning movement, stretching, yoga, sauna, cold plunge. Stay active, stay moving, help your body recover so that way you can keep doing this without pain. And then number 4, this plan should include some metrics. You want to be able to track. So decide up front what you're gonna track. Some typical metrics might be weight, if weight's the most important thing to you. Body composition, what you're seeing in the mirror, actually tracking some measurable data points. Energy levels, how energetic do you feel? Do you feel good? HRV, sleep and recovery scores. There's a lot of different trackers now, wearables that you can use, but the key is don't obsess over any of them, but figure out what is most important to you. What do you want to track? What do you want to see progress on? And start from day 1. Once again, why I would suggest using a service like Join Blokes, because for me, one of the big things that I wanted to focus on was my testosterone levels. And unfortunately, no trackers are able to tell you what your current testosterone levels are. So by getting my hormone panel with them and following a structured plan every 3 months, I'm able to see what my testosterone levels are looking like and make adjustments from there. And a key metric that I love to track is my HRV. I have an 8 sleep mattress pod that tracks my HRV pretty accurately, and I know for a fact when I'm recovering better and I'm able to make adjustments as I need. So now take out your pen, write this down, develop yourself a 4-week plan. Write out your strategy. Figure out what your work schedule is, what your schedule with family and kids and life looks like, and prioritize your health in that 4 weeks. You might have to get up an hour earlier to get your workout in order to plan your nutrition, but do it. Decide your meals, decide your workouts, plan your recovery sessions, involve your family, and figure out which metrics you want to track. Treat it like a contract with yourself and stick to it. Now let's talk about step number 3. Let's talk about food. The rich and famous don't eat fast food or processed food as often as you might think. And celebrities don't just eat kale smoothies every day. They eat intentionally. Single ingredient, nutrient-dense foods, organic grass-fed meats, wild-caught fish, backyard eggs, free-range chicken eggs. They focus on the quality of the nutrition they're putting in their body. The foods they eat typically are focused on reducing inflammation. There is a difference between inflammatory foods and anti-inflammatory foods. Fast food typically causes inflammation, and a lot of people, there's a lot of debate here, think seed oils or vegetable oils help cause inflammation. And when you can focus on eating quality nutrition, you don't have to eat as much. And they're designed to reduce inflammation, stabilize your blood sugar, and help your body recover faster. Protein-rich foods help stimulate muscle protein synthesis. Fruit, berries, and fatty fish help reduce recovery time. And when you intentionally eat quality nutrition, your blood sugar is typically stable throughout the day, which prevents energy crashes and fat storage. And depending on your goals, you can add in something like a quality protein shake, collagen, omega-3 supplement. And if you do decide to work with Joy and Blokes, they can provide you with the exact supplement pack every day that your body needs based off of what your body needs. So once again, you can take the guesswork out of the equation. The key here is avoid packaged foods. No matter how clean the packaging says, they will slow recovery and make fat loss harder. Once again, take out your pen. Here's a note. I want you to write down a 7-day meal plan. This might change every 7 days depending on your work schedule and your kids and family schedule, but include them. Let's use real whole foods. Meat, fish, eggs, fruits, dairy, honey. If it came from this earth, if God designed it, it's probably good for you. Enjoy it. And remember, no excuses here. You're fueling your body to perform and adapt optimally. So the nutrition and the food you put in your body will matter. No cheat days. It's not worth it. And real quick, I want to elaborate on cheat days. Like, there was a lot of diets back in the day that were so strict that it took the fun out of food. I've been eating pretty much an animal-based diet for the past 2 years, which is a lot of meat. I love meat. A lot of eggs, a lot of dairy, whole, raw dairy, a lot of honey, maple syrup, salt, butter, fruits. Did I say fruits? The finer things in life. And after every meal, I feel so satisfied. I'm full. I'm able to perform, my mind is sharp, and I don't feel groggy. But I am a father of 4, so every once in a while, we will order some Uber or we'll go out to eat, and I always feel like crap, even if I go to the cleaner option. So I just wanted to say that as a real dude talking to real people, you will be weak every once in a while, and you will have a cheat day. There's no such thing as a cheat day. You're gonna feel like crap, just don't do it. I'm kind of talking to myself right now. But that's step number 3. You know, before we get to step number 4, I want to talk about step number 3.5. Everybody's battle is different. Like for real, here's a key insight. Not every celebrity or athlete follows the same plan. Some can just go run 10 miles a day and stay shredded no matter what they eat. Others can try that and would collapse on their face. Some thrive on a carnivore diet, and others feel awful doing that. I'm a big believer in understanding biodiversity. Everybody's different. And when I say everybody's different, every body is different. Everyone is fighting a different battle. Everyone, from the richest of rich to the poorest of poor. And that includes me and you. Like, think about it. Hormonal differences affect diet tolerance, energy, and the stress response of the body. And this is, once again, why labs and blood work are key. Take me, for example. 2 years ago, when I first got my blood work done, I thought I was eating a balanced diet. I thought I was working out optimally. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't look too bad, but then I got my blood work done and found out my testosterone was under 300, which is so low. But more importantly than that, I found out I was pre-diabetic and had Hashimoto's, amongst a few other pretty bad things. And I would have never known if I didn't start there. Once again, why labs and blood work are key. They show what your body can handle. They show what's missing, and they show where you can optimize. Coaches personalize this for celebrity, and coaches are great, but a good coach is crazy expensive. And if you don't have a coach and you don't want to use Joy and Blokes, experiment intelligently, but you still need some accountability. It's hard to do this on your own. But if I was doing it on my own, I would start with hybrid workouts, mixing strength, cardio, and high intensity interval training. These style of workouts tend to work for most bodies. Then tweak your diet, tweak the intensity, and recovery to find out what your body responds to best. But take a mental account at how your body responds to specific diets. What is giving you energy and what is taking it away? When you start thinking about that as you're putting food in your body, like, okay, here's where my energy level is right now. I'm gonna eat X, Y, and Z foods. Is that going to bring my energy up, or is it gonna bring my energy down? If you're putting fuel in your body and your energy is coming down, I would say that's not food, stop eating it. Unless that's the goal, unless that's your downer. It's the end of the night, you're all riled up and you're like, I know this food is gonna make me feel groggy and pass out. By all means, do what is best for you. But for me personally, I really love eating foods that bring my energy levels up. Notice I didn't say anything in this about starving yourself. Once again, I think those fads have kind of left. There's still always gonna be that side of people who would rather just take a shot of Ozempic or starve themselves in the form of fasting to lose weight. And yes, there is obviously a place for like a calorie deficit. If you're eating, 2,500 to 4,500 calories a day and you're sitting at a desk all day long at your job, I would say you probably want to dial the calories down a little bit. But once again, I don't even really think like calories are the most important thing. The nutrition you're putting in your body is the most important thing, I think. If you're eating a clean, organic, whole food, something your body can use 100% of it, then following like a calorie deficit specific plan might not work great for you. Because if I eat a pound of ribeye, it's a lot of calories. But that pound of ribeye gives me insane energy, and it can take me through a long, grueling workout with energy to spare. So once again, that's why you're biodiverse, you're different from anybody you're watching online, including myself. So experiment with what works best for you. I'm just telling you how the rich and famous get jacked in 4 weeks. And one of the keys is diet and nutrition. But remembering that not everybody is the same. If there was a one-size-fits-all approach, we'd all be doing it. Well, that's step 3 and 3.5. Now let's talk about step 4. Step 4 is all about the training. When I say training, I'm talking about the actual exercise and workouts. And most of the rich and famous have somebody writing their workouts for them. Me and you don't. And sure, there's a ton of great programs you can subscribe to online. There's probably a lot of great free resources on YouTube as well. But what I found is no matter how you do it, there's a secret to it. I have a fly flying all around me, and he's very annoying. Go away, fly. Shoot. The workouts themselves aren't magic, but the strategy is. Rich and famous people use hybrid training. They don't just have one random piece of gym equipment and that's their workout. And they don't just follow one random program online. They mix strength, lifting heavy weights that challenge their body, cardio, long bouts of cardio keeping the heart rate up, and conditioning in the form of high intensity interval training. And they combine it all. They mix it all together. Go away, fly. Bro, remember, it's not just about looking good. I know that's the end result we're all looking for, but it's not just about looking good. It's about metabolism, endurance, and recovery all at one time. Strength training, depending on how heavy you go, activates fast and slow twitch muscle fibers. This increases your strength and your muscle mass. Cardio in the form of zone 2, trying to keep your heart rate under 150 beats per minute. That's my rule of thumb anyway. It changes for everybody depending on your age. And me and my wife are training for our first marathon right now, and we're realizing that like the same pace generates 2 totally different heart rates between her and I. But the key is a conversational pace, something that you can go with your heart rate elevated, but you can go for a long period of time while still carrying a conversation with a friend. This improves mitochondrial function and cardiovascular health. And then high intensity interval training spikes growth hormone, and this burns fat more efficiently after your workout. There's a lot of different ways to split this up, and depending on your goals, once again, why rich and famous people have coaches, figure out what your goals are. Are you trying to just get really skinny? You might want to include a lot of high intensity interval training and long runs. There's a lot of different ways to split this up. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you how you should split it up because my schedule and your schedule are totally different. You have to figure out what works best for you. Can you work out inside, outside? Do you have an hour to go for a long run? What timing works best for you? And this is once again why it's nice to invest in a coach. But if you don't have a coach, coach yourself. Look at your calendar, look at your schedule, prioritize yourself, prioritize giving yourself 30 minutes to an hour and a half. Doesn't have to be an hour and a half every day, but give yourself some time and a lot for a workout that mixes in strength training, cardio training, and high intensity interval training together. Design just a 5-day plan and stick to it for 4 weeks. And most importantly, track results. The key here is showing up consistently. Don't miss a day. If you give yourself a 5-day workout plan, hit it every single day, no matter how you feel. This leads me to step number 5. Step number 5 is track, measure, and adjust. Because even with the perfect plan, rich and famous people track, measure, and adjust. They measure everything: weight, body fat percentage, recovery scores, body mass, sleep scores. They're looking at probably too much, but they know immediately if something is off, and when they realize something's off, they adjust. There's an abbreviation I've said a few times throughout this video, and it's HRV. That stands for heart rate variability. This indicates recovery and stress adaptation. Seeing a higher HRV number indicates that your body is adapting well. Seeing your HRV start to drop is an indicator that your body's under a lot of stress and you might need to back off just a little bit. Doesn't mean to quit, but back off just a little and focus on your sleep. Tracking your energy is something that there's not really like a ton of wearables you can choose that are going to track your energy. It's more of taking an internal account of how you actually feel when you're eating specific foods. One of the things I revealed when I was going through my coaching with Joy and Blokes is that I personally love coffee. Drink a ton of coffee. Probably have too much coffee. Probably way too much coffee. And I thought I was doing the right thing. For a long time, for years, I would put the brown sugar and the raw in my coffee thinking, oh, it's real sugar, so like it's better than Splenda and all this other fake sugar, right? Turns out my body didn't like it at all. And they made one subtle adjustment. They said, hey, keep enjoying your coffee, but instead of using sugar in the raw, why don't you try using honey? Maybe even some organic maple syrup. So I didn't have to eliminate something from my diet that I loved, but I adjusted based off of the data that they were seeing. Made that adjustment and all of my numbers improved, and I'm still able to enjoy coffee. I'm still able to enjoy that sweet nectar that God's provided us. But I would have never known had I not had somebody holding me accountable, tracking my numbers and showing me where and how to adjust. And the crazy thing is, I realized that my energy levels actually improved when I switched from taking sugar to maple syrup or honey. And now I can't even put sugar in my coffee. Ugh, just tastes weird now. Key takeaway here is for you watching, just pick one metric you want to track and just track it for the 4 weeks. Whether it's the weight on the scale, which don't obsess over that. I don't. It could be your energy. Maybe you're a parent and you're drowning because there's so much going on and you constantly feel like you are just like grasping at straws to survive. Try tracking your energy. When you make some shifts and change the nutrition you're putting in your body or the timing of your workout or the intensity or style of your workout, see what gives you more energy so that you can be a more present parent to your kids and more mentally sharp. There are some tools that I personally use and I found very, very useful that help me with all of this. One of the things I use to track is I sleep on an 8 sleep mattress pod. It helps me sleep. It helps me get into deep sleep, and it gives me all of these crazy metrics. I don't actually wear any of the wearables. I've never owned an Oura ring or any of those ring trackables. I have a silicone wedding ring. Like, I'm not a big jewelry guy. I've had the same Garmin for 3 years now. It's the Phoenix 7. It tracks my runs and my swims and my workouts, and kind of keep it super simple. Like, I don't wear a ton of the wearables, but if you want one, there are a few that I would recommend. Whoop is a good one. It's a great option for you. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, like there's just a ton of options out there. So you do your own research, figure out what's best for you, but pick just one metric you want to track throughout this 4 weeks and just focus on that. Develop your entire plan around that one metric, but don't starve yourself and deplete yourself of energy. If anything, everything you should do should be focused on improving your energy. You got to think, the rich and famous, and I'm kind of talking actors right now, they can't just starve themselves and deplete themselves of all of their energy and still show up on camera. So what you see in their body, how they get jacked, cut, ripped, and all that stuff, it looks good, but they're also still eating food. They give their mind fuel. At least that's what I've heard. And sure, there's probably some roles where they've gotten insanely unhealthy, mentally, physically, emotionally, and I would never wish that on anybody, because at the end of the day, energy is a currency, and everything we do should be to increase our energy naturally. That way we can show up. But now let's talk about step number 6. Finally, let's talk about mindset. Celebrities hire coaches and trainers to keep them accountable. That way they don't have to really put a lot of thought into this. High stakes typically equals high focus. They're not gonna spend a bunch of money investing in a coach or a trainer and then not do it. Not to mention they're probably, like paid to look a certain way. Like, that's their job. But here's the crazy thing. You don't need a coach to implement accountability. A friend, your spouse, a partner in crime, or even documenting progress online. These are all forms of accountability that seem to work for a lot of people. I can tell you, I personally use my Instagram as an accountability partner. I love sharing journeys that I'm on. Right now, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that me and my wife are training for a marathon. You know when we started training? A week ago. You know when it is? In less than 3 weeks. Is this normal? No. Do people typically go from just being average adult humans to running a marathon? No. Are we going to complete this marathon? Well, we hope so. But putting ourselves out there online and sharing our progress, sharing our training, and hoping for some encouragement from other people out there around the world, it kind of fuels us. And it provides us with some accountability. It makes us want to show up every single day and continue doing our training. And it's a free resource. So whatever it is, find your accountability partner or system and share your goals. Check in weekly, check in daily, make it non-negotiable, because accountability can transform your intention to action. And kind of a cliche saying here, but like, a goal without a plan is just a wish. Most people don't write down on their vision board a goal of being insanely obese. It just happens because they didn't follow a plan. So write down your plan, share it with somebody, and tell them to hold you accountable. So now let's be real. The rich and famous don't have it any easier. They still have to put in the work. And if we think about it, they have a plan, they have the data, the accountability, and the resources. And now, so do you. Blood work, a 4-week plan, intentional eating, hybrid training, tracking, and accountability. That's your blueprint. No magic, no gimmicks, no plastic surgery, just structure and consistency. So here's the deal. If you just watched this entire video and you didn't take any notes, I want to give you some final plans so you can go back and watch this video later and write this down to develop your plan for free. I'm not selling coaching. This video is not about selling you on my program. I will help you as much as I can for free. Though I do have a playbook to help creators become full-time creators. If you want to check that out, that's down in the description below. And yes, this video was sponsored by Joy and Bloke, so if you do decide to get your hormone panels done, use them. They're giving you 50% off. Write out your baseline. Know where you're starting. If you don't have the means to go and use Joy and Blokes, or you don't want to do anything like super specific to your body, which I highly recommend, go weigh yourself. Go jump on a BMI scale or get your body fat percentage. Pretty simple metrics that you can have access to at most places. Most CrossFit gyms have that machine now that can track that, or go somewhere that does it, or buy yourself a scale that can do all that stuff. It's not going to be 100% accurate, but it should be at least somewhat close. And if you're using the same exact thing to track your progress, it should show you like at least some progress. But write out your baseline, pick the data that you want to track, and then develop your 4-week plan accordingly. Stick to it, track it, and stay consistent with it. And then adjust intelligently. My channel has a ton of videos around topics that could be helpful for this, so if you're not subscribed, make sure you do so. It costs you nothing and it could be a good resource for you. And also share this video with a friend. Maybe you don't even have YouTube. Maybe you can't subscribe or comment or like this video, but if you share it with somebody, that lets YouTube know that this video had some value. And then YouTube will show this video to other people who need to see it. That's kind of how it works. But seriously, if you do this, there's no reason you personally can't get the same results that rival a Hollywood actor or anyone else. So that's it, my friends. It's not crazy. You can obviously make it more crazy if you really, really want to. And yes, there is Botox and plastic surgery and Ozempic and all that's a real thing. But you don't have to do all that stuff. You can just put in the work. You can just develop a plan, follow it consistently, and track your progress. It seems hard, it seems outdated, but it works. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, my friends, and God bless. Hey, speaking of next video, I'm gonna have a video pop up right over here. Actually, I'll have 2 videos pop up right over here I think you'll like. So check out one of those.